So I'd like to welcome you all to our fourth AVE presentation sponsored by BITS. We have a special treat for you tonight. Very excited for what you're about to see. And I'll let the moderator, Pep López-Varela, talk to you about that. But before we start, I'd like to start with a prayer and then hand it over to Pep. So in the name of the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. I'd like to pray in a special way today for Tony Avella, who left us this week, and very special Belen alum, and I'd like to pray for him and his family. I'd like to pray for all of you that are here with us and everybody affected by the COVID virus and our community. I'd like to pray for Rick Raimundes as well, which was a very big part of this AVE presentation. And I'd like to thank you all for being here. So in Jesus' name we pray, amen. So with that said, I'd like to hand it over to José López-Varela, which will do the introductions, and sit back, relax, and enjoy. The questions, you can go ahead and chat your questions to me, and I'll be passing them on to them. So with that said, Pep, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Carlos, and good evening. My name is José López-Varela. I'm from the Belen class of 1987 and the current chairman of the Belen Information Technology Professional Section. So I want to welcome you all here today and for joining us. You may ask yourself, why are we doing this? This event was actually supposed to happen on my saint day, coincidentally enough, on Thursday, March 19th, when all this happened and our lives were kind of turned upside down, and everybody started working from home and going to school from home, et cetera, et cetera. So I won't belabor that, but I think that's how we're here now. Belen launched this Alumni Virtual Event series initially to provide information with what's going on. But now, as we're kind of all into this new normal, we felt that part of this new normal is bringing back the things that we had to cancel. So because of that, we thought, man, we had this great thing planned. We had to put it on the back burner. Perfect time now to bring it back and be able to share it with all of you. The interesting thing about our topic tonight is that I think this kind of encaptures probably the whole Belen experience, the Belen alumni experience, because, well, you're going to learn tonight about an idea that was hatched at Belen and then fostered at Belen, by a Belen student, and then another Belen student joined the team. The parents of the student are also involved. The school becomes the first client for all intents and purposes, and the product allows and facilitates mentoring, which is something that's so important and is something that our association, the Alumni Association, is built on, because we want to be able to provide this mentoring for all the students at the school. So lo and behold, we have now hatched this mentoring platform right at Belen. So I'm not going to steal their thunder because they've got great stuff to share with you. So with that, I'm going to introduce our panelists. I want to introduce Lourdes Aviñó, or Julie, as you'll hear us call her. She's the co-founder of YTeach. We also have the director of technology from Belen Jesuit, a dear friend, a dear teacher, Ms. Vila. And then you're going to hear from Matias Aviñó from the Belen class of 2025, a Belen Rising 8th grader and a co-founder of YTeach. You're also going to hear from Stefano Sanchez, a current member of the Belen class of 2020, who is the Chief Operating Officer of YTeach and who's going to start at UPenn now in the fall. And then the other piece that I don't think I even mentioned, but the other piece that also came together is Ramon Branger, a partner from Branger Briz, an alum of Belen from the class of 1992, who the school, when this all was being born, brought him together as an integral piece, and you'll see what key role Raymond played. So with that, I'll turn it over to Luli and we'll get things going. Just as a quick reminder, if you have questions, you can add them in the chat and we'll do our best to get them asked towards the end of the event when we have Q&A.
Thanks so much, Pep, for that introduction. And just, hello to everyone. My name is Luli Aviñó, and I'm co-founder of YTeach. And first off, I wanted to thank Belen and the BITS alumni group for really asking us to be part of this. It really is such an honor, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to speak with everybody, especially during, sort of these crazy times. It's a really great way to sort of get our community together. So again, we're very grateful for that. Javi, if you could go to the next slide. Our mission at YTeach really is to create a community of empowered lifelong learners. We probably do not look like your typical startup or panel, but I would probably argue that that's our secret weapon. The other co-founder, as Pep mentioned, is my son, Matias Aviñó, and he actually is the one who came up with the idea of YTeach. And we're very, very grateful that Stefano Sanchez, a senior at Belen, and has been with us since the beginning, but he's sticking with us and will be COO, even though he'll be off to Warden now in the fall. So that's really our group. Javi, just the next one, please. So the question we often get asked is exactly how did Matias come up with this idea? And I give him complete credit, but would probably argue that my attempt to not be a completely crazy parent may have helped, possibly. So essentially, aside from YTeach, I'm also a real estate attorney. I've been practicing for 15 years. I competed in Division I athletics, so you could probably describe my environment as highly competitive, individualized, and research the heck out of every single thing. When my husband Javier and I had kids, I of course researched the heck out of everything, but I knew that I wanted to not impose some of these craziness on our kids. And although Miami's an awesome city, I think we all know that there's a lot of comparisons and focus on accolades instead of just their growth. It's just always a hustle here. So I made a really strong effort to, from the time they were really young, to ask them the very first thing as soon as they got in the car was, what did you do to help someone today? It could be, it couldn't be what did you get on the test or what reading level. It really was just that had to be the first thing. And as you would expect, his response in pre-K 3 was, maybe he lent somebody a crayon or held the door. But by 5th grade, it included, maybe he included somebody at his table or helped a classmate who had a tough day. And even now, I still ask him this question. And, recently actually had a friend at school who had a relative who had passed away, and he sent him an email. So we're always trying to focus on that main question. And so one day in 5th grade, I asked him essentially, I'm about to ask him, I should say. And before he raises his hands, he's like, don't stop, don't ask. I came up with an idea today, and it's not how could I help one person, but how could I help a lot of people? The craziness is that we essentially go on vacation and he shows up with a legal pad and pencil and essentially writes a business plan in a week and literally pitches it to Javi and I. And I thought it made complete sense. I thought, of course you have all these students around you, and why wouldn't you use that resource? So the next step was sort of like, how could we actually do this? We're lucky enough to know Raymond, Liz, and Rocco since the boys were in pre-K 4 together. And my husband also knows Paul Breeze since childhood, so they've been long friends. So we really knew that Branger Breeze was a group that we could really trust. So I literally typed up Matias's business plan, and I think I sent it over to Raymond and probably said something along the lines of, am I crazy? And, tell me exactly what you think. So Raymond, I don't know if you want to further elaborate or speak on your role in that.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny because Luli had originally approached me with a completely different idea. And she asked sort of how could she take this idea and turn it into a digital product. And that's part of what we do at Branger Breeze is we develop digital products for all sorts of different clients, but specifically we do a lot of work with startups. And one of the things that we do is consult them into how to take this idea and make it an actual reality. So when Luli sent me Matias's business plan, I said, I think this has legs and I think this is great. So we initially went into what we call a discovery and planning stage with them, where we did some research on competitors, on potential competitors, and sort of what was out in the marketplace. From there, we established what is the full discovery plan, where we set out wireframes and worked very, very close with Matias and Luli to develop the wireframes and come up with a plan on how to execute it. And it's always great because I always share with everyone how Matias came up with this idea. But not only did he come up with the idea, but he was really an integral part in the meetings. He didn't just sit there. You would think a sixth grader would go into a meeting to brainstorm about an app like this. But he was, he had a clear vision on what he wanted to do and was able to do it. And from there, we just, it kind of took on. We developed it together and approached Belen with the idea of beta testing, and the rest is, I guess, what you will learn now from what Matias and Luli and Stefano will share.
Thank you, Ramon. No, I'm gonna actually pass it over to Matt and have him explain exactly what it is. So,
can you go to the next slide, please? So the problem. So hi, everyone. Basically, I realized that we all have questions. So I would have friends who would ask me to explain a math problem, or I'd ask my cousin for help in math or something like that. And students constantly have questions, but the challenge is that they don't know who to ask. So teachers are trying their best, but a lot of the times, students are not going to feel comfortable to go to a teacher, or, it's just more convenient to talk to a peer and learn from a peer. So we started researching this more, and we saw that it was a much bigger problem. So only 37% of students are prepared for college-level math and reading, and we believe that YTeach can help solve this problem. The next slide, please. The solution. So YTeach is a peer-to-peer tutoring and scheduling app. So students can schedule learning into their day. So it's almost like an Uber, but for tutoring. So if let's say you're gonna get an Uber, so you walk out of a building and you're gonna get the Uber. It's kind of like that. You're gonna walk out of math class and you could try and find a tutor. You can search for whatever subject you need. And it really develops a network amongst the students in a school. And it gives the school a platform to help their students achieve academic goals. And schools can provide students with their best resources, which is other students. So I'll let Stefano explain exactly how it works and the feedback we're getting.
All right, thank you, Matias. You guys can move on to the next slide. Awesome. So we created a virtual platform for a research-based solution. So let's dive into some of that research. Studies show that students who received peer tutoring or tutors who gave peer tutoring scored 10 to 20% better than other students who were in their same grades. In another test that was given to students who were undergraduate students with a sports science degree, we have two different groups. First, we have sophomores who were given the opportunity to get peer tutored, and we also have seniors who were given the opportunity to tutor those sophomores. In the light blue that you guys can see there, those are the scores that the students scored on the exam that they were given. For the sophomores, you can see that the students who participated in peer tutoring clearly scored significantly better than the students who did not participate in peer tutoring. In addition to that, the range of their scores was a lot tighter. For the seniors who tutored the sophomores, the people who were involved in the peer tutoring scored significantly better than those who were not peer tutors. Comparing those who got tutored and those who tutored, the students who were sophomores that received peer tutoring even scored higher than the students who were seniors that did not participate in peer tutoring. And peer tutoring also really extends beyond the classroom and beyond the academic. Because of the relationships that are formed between students and their tutors, it promotes emotional intelligence, and in addition to that, just social awareness and really adaptability. I guess we can move on to the next slide. So really getting down to how our product works, scheduling a session for a student is as easy as a click of a button. I know from my personal experience, because I both used this app as a student and a tutor in the previous year, and we had amazing results. Really, when you go to schedule a session, there's a button that is clearly there where a student presses find a tutor. You just have to search up, let's say, calculus. You get a list of the different tutors that can help you out. You can either message them to coordinate a time to meet, or you can go right ahead and request, like Matias said, like an Uber app, and the student who are tutors would either accept or deny that session. And it's as easy as that. You go to the library, you get tutored, and then you understand your material so much better. Next slide. So over the past 7 months, we had our pilot program over at Belen, and we had amazing results. Of course, after our launch in August, we saw an increase in our users, but kind of interestingly, really in March, when we had our period of time where around March 16th is when we went to virtual learning, we saw a spike in the number of users. And right now we have about a 415% increase in the total number of students who are using our app at Belen. Next slide. And in addition to that, kind of towards the end, we surveyed the Belen students and asked them what they thought of whether or not we should continue the program at Belen next year. And 92.9% of the students said yes. They all had amazing experiences. Again, I participated in using the app and I had an awesome experience. I had started a peer tutoring program about when I was in 9th grade. And first we started off in pencil and paper. Then we finally convinced the school to let us go to a more virtual platform. And still, it was a lot of work on the back end for me every day. And this year, it's been amazing. It's really helped me focus more on the marketing side, really getting the word out to the students that we have this program for them instead of matching students and tutors. The middleman is really eliminated with the app. And some of the feedback that we've gotten from the students is that the app is a good way for them to understand material that isn't just from a teacher, but from a student who might have a similar perspective as them. And in addition to that, in terms of more like the logistics of the app, it's really a win-win for both the student and the tutor, because the student can get the help that they need and the tutor gets service hours really in return for their help. And someone who's really helped us in this entire pilot program process has been Miss Vila. So I'll hand it over to her for her to say some words on her experience.
When Lourdes and Matias first came to my office along with Stefano and presented this idea, you know, I was amazed at Matias' poise and eloquence in describing his vision and his goals and what he wanted to do. It was you know, really, really impressive. He did a lot of the talking that afternoon in my office. Basically they approached me to see if we would be interested at Belen to beta test this app, this product. And I thought it was a great fit. And I took it to the administration, Father Willie and the principal, Mr. Roca. And they said, yeah, if you think it's a good thing, you know, let's do it. And of course, Maria Moreno, who is the moderator of our peer tutoring program. I mean, she was just very thrilled and excited at the thought of this, because, I mean, I don't really have to tell you a lot about the results. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, the survey that the Belen students took and the graph, very, very steep slope as it rises. And it's no surprise, because this is an app that clearly addresses the students' needs. They like it. They are used to working with apps like this. And to me, it's a slam dunk success. And I hope that Belen, you know, agrees to continue and signs up for this, because I don't think it should go anywhere but, you know, increase usage at Belen. No, congratulations to all involved in this.
Thank you so much. So
And of course, Stefano, I must say that you and I have talked frequently. You moderated and asked me to come on. I mean, we've really communicated quite a lot about this, and I think we've had good discussions, and I think you have been so level-headed and smart about your approach to this whole project. No wonder Wharton took you, Stefano.
Thank you. Really, it's been a pleasure on our side to get to work with you. You've been an amazing resource for us time and time again. So now I'm going to pass it over back to Luli, and she's going to kind of close us off. So you guys can move on to the next slide.
Thanks, Stefano. And Ms. Vila, thank you honestly for taking a chance on us. So it really has been mutual as far as, us learning from your expertise and your experiences, just the same. So really thank you for taking a shot at us. And then this is sort of complementary offerings. YTeach doesn't just stop with the app. Because our mission is really to create this community of empowered lifelong learners. We also offer encouragement through a weekly newsletter that we send out to the users, which anyone could sign up for. So we constantly are receiving feedback from students and parents and teachers who have found it to be incredibly positive. And we also offer tutor training and other program resources just to make sure that the tutors, understand as far as really the greater mission with YTeach. And Javi, I'm sorry, the next slide, please. And finally, just because this is such a strong community and the Belen network is, the strongest, I would say, we'd really ask for you guys to just come on board and join our team as far as, first, we know that there are some students on here who are listening in. So to them, I'd really encourage them just to keep on using it. We've seen sessions on Fridays, and that's pretty remarkable. So thank you guys, and really just keep going. And to the alumni, if you have a son or a nephew, or you just know somebody at Belen, please encourage them to take advantage of this resource. And secondly, the Belen network, as I said, it's at its core. So if you know someone in leadership positions at Columbus, Lourdes, Ransom, or any other school, we've been reached out to schools from as far as Ireland. It's pretty incredible. So just if you have those contacts, please send us a message and help us make that connection. And finally, like I said, we want you to be our grassroots ambassadors, just to help spread the word. And, we'll follow up with all of you through email and hopefully get any feedback, any positive or constructive criticism that you might have. We definitely encourage it. So please, reach out and feel free. And Javi, just last slide. And lastly, so here, you could connect with us at any time. We have a QR code, so you could actually take a picture of it, and it'll provide a ton of information as far as all of it, our websites, our newsletter, really all of it. So again, feel free to contact us. And I want to, close this off. Just again, thank you for the opportunity and for your time. And let us know, Pep, if there's any questions that people might have, and we'll go ahead and answer. So thank you.
Up, you're muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Luli. I know we've asked you guys to submit questions via chat. I know our guys in the background are taking a look at those. So do we have anything to ask, Jen?
Yeah, I just sent you one.
Okay. The question that we have is, does Belen use the app for other reasons that are not clearly academic? Example, like band or athletic team players?
Not right now, but the idea is to expand to that. We've been trying to implement that in Belen.
Yeah, I mean, as a beta test, because it was its first year, we really were just trying to make sure that everything worked properly. The idea
is to help any student. So maybe you don't want to be tutored in in academics, but you want to be tutored in like athletics and stuff. So yeah, we're trying to expand maybe next year.
And it's also to get at the heart of it again. I think what YTeach stood for is really that everybody has a skill and everybody has something to offer. And maybe you're not, you know, the straight A student, but you have a skill like you play a guitar, and there's a student out there who wants to learn to play an instrument, you know, that they could meet with them. So that is in the bigger picture as far as the core of our mission. So, and again, just that focus that everybody has something special for them and to give to somebody else.
This is Javi. Can I ask a question if I could just jump in? You mentioned something that I hadn't even considered, and the network, with the networking concept within the school. Have you seen that it's maybe brought together certain grades or, you know, certain populations in the school that wouldn't otherwise have sort of talked or socialized, or, you know, is that happening? Any examples of something like that happening?
Yeah, definitely. So really, I mean, if you ask anyone who uses the app, I would say 9 out of 10 chance that they know who Stefano is, because I really try to get to know every single student that uses it. I really communicate with them a lot, and really, especially this year, I formed amazing relationships with the students that have used it, especially with a 10th grader. We've become really close friends, and now he's even going to become the president next year of the program. And just in addition to that, really just walking down the hall and seeing 7th graders saying hi to me and me saying hi back to them. It's really something that I didn't experience before we brought the app in, even when I used to peer tutor before that. And so you're definitely seeing that network starting to form and those students starting to communicate to each other, even across grades.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Do you have a marketing strategy, Lourdes? Because I would love to discuss that with you at greater length, Lourdes and Matias and Stefano, who, because I think that I could help you out in that area as well because of my connections with the independent schools that I deal with who use our Blackbaud software. So I would, you know, welcome that opportunity in the near future.
And I think that's critical because I think, you know, from our standpoint, we could reach out to the students and we're sort of getting that feedback. But I think, you know, obviously to encourage the users, the student, but of course the customer is the school. It's for the school to provide the service to their students. So I think the feedback from administrators and from other teachers who have seen how it has helped their student body, you know, is instrumental in helping make this a success. So, you know, we would love that opportunity to definitely touch base on those connections. So thank you. I'll bother you.
We have another question from our participants, and it's about the app, if the app is bilingual.
So the question was if the app is bilingual?
Yes.
So it's, I think, almost possibly simpler than that in the sense of they sign up, a student will sign up, and you know, obviously it's just you search the whatever subject. So if you're looking for the subject matter, but it's not at this moment, it isn't that, you know, instruction or that it's, you know, guiding you from page to page.
I mean, you could chat with a tutor in Spanish if your keyboard setting is in Spanish. But
any other questions, guys? Oh, okay, here's one. How does the subscription model work? Is it a free download? How does the app work for, I guess, both the end user, and if you could talk a little bit about the school?
So essentially, like I was saying, the users really are the students, but the idea is, you know, we're trying to provide a service that hopefully, you know, will relieve some stress actually to families as well. As far as, you know, ideally it would be an app that schools will subscribe to, similar to a Reading Plus or, you know, a Reflex
it's
Math.
free for the student.
So it would be an app that the school would provide the service, the students actually download it. So the way it's working right now with Belen is, you know, Belen had approved the use of the app. It's on, you know, an approved app that they're able to download.
Yeah,
at
it's
the
on
school.
Zulu Desk.
And essentially, you know, the students could download it. They can use it whenever they want. So we literally have students who, you know, are using it, and they almost have a schedule. They'll go like every Tuesday, Thursday, and they'll schedule a tutoring session those days. You know, and even now, I'd say I wasn't sure how it was going to work with the virtual learning, and if anything, it's shown that it's incredibly, you know, versatile as far as just giving that access to students and still the need. We actually had a note of a student who, you know, was having a math tutor come in and help them twice a week. Obviously now we're in quarantine and everybody's sort of stuck at home. They can't have this tutor, so the student was really sort of nervous about, are they gonna, you know, sort of keep up with this material, and they've stayed on, and they'll go 2 or 3 times a week with a peer tutor and sort of maintain that. So it really has shown how just adaptable it's been, and hopefully, you know, as that notion to students, it's okay to ask for help. Actually, you know, it's okay to fail. A fail means you're like challenging yourself and trying. So hopefully, you know, you just keep going and pushing yourself to these limits where you could get better and better, and you know, expand that. So that's really at the crutch, but it is right now available to the students at Belen. And the point, like Matias had said in the beginning, it creates a network within the school. So it isn't as if a student at another school can reach out to a Belen student. It really tries, you know, I think this is where the lawyer in me came out, as far as, you know, making sure that the kids are safe and that's protected. So it creates a network just within the student body.
That was a very important thing when Lourdes talked to me, that it does keep it inside the school. And I think she's done a brilliant job of guiding that process.
For the future IT software developers, students that are listening in, Raymond, could you expand on the platform that you used, on the code itself a little bit?
Sure. It was built natively on iOS's platform. We started with iOS specifically because, you know, Belen is using iPads, so they were going to be the beta testing program. We started with that, but the idea is to expand to Android devices in future phases. And it's hosted on AWS, Amazon Web Services as well. And the content management system is all a cloud-based system, so the admin could go in and monitor and add and delete and edit both students as well as subjects and courses and things like that.
You guys talked a little bit about the mentors receiving service hours. Is that like automatically reported on the app now? I guess I know you alluded to Stefano having to do this manually. It almost reminds me of the day when we would play fantasy football, everything on paper. So is this something that happens, automatic reporting?
Yeah, so for the students, the way it works is that after they tutor, they fill out a form that we have on our on-campus group page for peer tutoring. And from there, what that allows me to do on that end is to really keep track of all the sessions that are happening, really like take note of those patterns of the students that are tutoring on certain days, and also just to recognize the names of the tutors that are and the students that are participating in the program, so that when I can really approach a student, it's not like, oh, you there. I can really address them by name, and that's something that I've always firmly believed in. And really, in terms of turning in the service hours, we have a system worked out. So that's really more internally within the school, because every service hour system is different. But within the school, the service hour coordinator, Ms. Gonzalez, has a form that we fill out to submit the hours of the students.
And also on the app itself, there is a feature that the student could email themselves sort of a report of the classes that they've tutored with the hours. So within the app itself, they can basically just export that via email to themselves, and then they can use that as backup to present to the teacher.
Okay, I got clarification on one of our earlier questions about the app being in another language. It was actually one of our BITS board members, because he has a relative who's a teacher in Spain, so he was thinking about obviously use in other countries. So we could what I'll do is I'll definitely connect you with him so that you guys can explore that further.
Yeah, and in terms of that, we can absolutely, we have in other apps submitted the apps into other countries' app stores, so we can basically create an instance of the app and translate it and then upload it to another country, so that wouldn't be an issue.
Okay, here's another question. I know the answer, but I'll let you guys answer because we talked about student qualify to become a tutor, and are they rated after each session or after session?
Stefano, you want to?
Oh yeah, sure.
Have at it, or you?
Sure. So really the qualification that's needed to become a tutor, at least currently at Belen, and again, a lot of the way that the app is structured is, since every school is so particular in the way that they just run their programs, it's really adaptable to however each school wants to really participate with the app. But at Belen, you have to either be in the National Junior Honor Society or in the National Honor Society. So in terms of grade level, you have to be either an 8th grader or above. And really what that ensures is that the tutors not only have like the mastery in a specific subject, but have more of a holistic view of their good and their organizational skills and their communication skills. And really it's important to know that you have a tutor that you can rely on, that you're going to message them and they're actually going to show up for their session. So that's definitely something that those requirements really allow. And I think there was a second part to the question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the second part, I guess, dealt with, we now live in this world of reviews and instant reviews. Is there sort of a review mechanism or a rate my tutor type of, I guess you could also have a rate my mentee as well, but that was the question.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So actually, when we thought about this initially, we didn't really want negative feedback to be coming from the students, because with the whole world of wanting to get more likes, and really we didn't want to do anything to really hurt the confidence of the tutors, because they really do care and they really do try, and maybe they just have one negative experience. But we do value the feedback both on the YTeach side and on the internally, like on the program side at Belen, the feedback of the students and that they're having a positive experience. So there is, after you have a session, the student gets an email automatically to rate the session. And actually, if the tutor gets a thumbs up, it shows up as a heart next to their name, so that when students are looking for tutors to select which one they want, they have hearts next to their names. And really, it's really subjective. It could be that you have one heart because you've only tutored one session, or you have one heart and you've tutored 20 sessions. But at least it kind of gives the students kind of an initial gauging of someone that they could possibly reach out to.
Great, perfect. So, and we'll ask one more time if there's any other questions. If not, we'll start to wrap up. I'll give, because I see some coming in, so give me a second. Well, then let's do this, Javi, while we wait. I think we may get one more, but if you can put up that last slide of the present, not that one, the last slide of their presentation, because I think there's some crucial information there that you, as well as the video, if you want to learn more. And obviously, I think a key piece is trying to help the Belen network put it in action so that we can connect them with other schools. So I know Javi's working on showing that, because I know there's a QR code there, and we will shortly show our other QR codes. So I don't want to get us too many QR codes here. You got it, Javi? I see you. You're muted, so I can't hear you.
He's on mute.
I will be right with you. Stand by.
Perfect. I got you.
Talk amongst yourselves.
No worries, no worries.
Hang on. Here we are.
Was there an IT guy when you need one?
Exactly. I know we have cavemen as participants. But we got plenty of IT men here.
There you go.
There you go. So if you want to take out your mobile device and take a picture of that QR code on the screen, that's going to lead you to actually a great site. Thank you guys, because I had not heard of it, so I will use it in my future things. But great page full of links, so definitely take a look and take advantage. And I'll leave that up for a little more. Let me look at my questions, and if not, all right, Javi, thank you. All right, so before we wrap up, if you can show the other slide, one of the things that we strive to do is to keep these alumni virtual events coming to you. So if you could take a quick second for us and do a quick little survey for us on this BITS spring meeting, the AVE number 4, we would really appreciate it. Also, I want to let you know that the session is being recorded and it will be posted on the Belen Alumni YouTube page. It should be up there in a little bit. So there you'll find the other sessions that we've done in the last couple of weeks.
I gave everybody a very high rating except for Raymond for that wisecrack.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. And then lastly, as we wrap, I just want to talk a little bit about to all our alumni that are watching us about the new alumni website, belenalumni.org, or, you know, I guess more commonly known as Be Connected, and direct you to the fact that we have a BITS group there, and that's really the key way if you want to find out about what we're doing, what events we're having, etc. We manage a mailing list out of there, and that's the way that you can ensure that you won't miss any of our events. So with that, I want to say thank you. I want to thank our panelists. I want to thank Luli. I want to thank Matt. I want to thank Stefano. You guys did an awesome job. I want to thank Ms. Vila, of course. Thank you for always saying yes and supporting us whenever we come asking. I want to thank my 2 board members and playing the role of my wingmen today, Javier Gus Mariscal and Lorenzo de Toro. So thank you very much for doing that. Obviously, Raymond, of course, I'm the member of the alumni board and head of the IT committee of the alumni board, and a great friend. I won't thank Tony Castro, the president of the Alumni Association, because he just asked me to thank him, so I will not thank him. And of course, Carlos Bravo and Teresa Martinez, who always have our back, and my board for always supporting us with everything we do, including this crazy idea of bringing one of our meetings to Zoom. So thank you guys very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.